Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. One of the things people are not talking so much about, but I think is one of the most important things when it comes to your everyday experience with a Tesla, is the ecosystem of a Tesla. Everyone is talking about the Apple ecosystem. Having this one is one of the strongest things about Apple and their products, and why Apple fans won't leave iPhone. It's not so much about the phone itself, but more about the ecosystem, because that is what makes the user experience great. And I'm not just talking about Tesla software here. There are many different things that make the user experience great with a Tesla, especially when you compare it to the competition. This is not just about the specs of the car or how great it is to drive, or the safety and so on. It's about the convenience and user experience of the ecosystem, not the car itself. Because Tesla made the first truly smart car, not just a car. Like the smartphone is not just a phone. Let me tell you why Tesla has something no one else has, and let's dive right in. The car is great, but where Tesla really sticks out is when you own the car and use it in real life, and where many of the competitions fall short. For example, charging station. Others have charging stations, but not as fast charging as Tesla, and we will get back to this in a moment, and not as many stalls. E.ON, the energy company here in Europe, has a lot of stations in Denmark, for example, but they are mostly just one stalls. And the user experience of charging is very different at a Tesla charger. You get out, put the cable in your car, and that's it. With my E.ON charger, I have to get out, scan my little plug, press a couple of buttons to choose between the 3 different chargers, and then press start. And that's it. This might sound like a small thing, and it kind of is, but it makes the user experience so much nicer at a Tesla charger. It takes like 2 seconds, and at the other ones it takes about 20 seconds. Big difference in convenience and user experience. And the speed of the charging is really important, because most other chargers is about 50 kilowatt hour chargers, where Tesla is 120, 150 or 250 kilowatt hours. So you really automatically go to the one that takes 15 minutes to charge and not 45 minutes. And where there are 16 stalls, not just one, it makes all the difference. So even with my E.ON subscription, where I can charge for free, basically at home or on the go, I still find myself going to the Tesla chargers when I'm on a real road trip, because then I can drive for a couple of hours, just stop for 15 minutes, which is about the length of my breaks anyway, to go to the bathroom, get a snack, a cup of coffee or something, and then I'm on the road again. I really don't feel like I'm stopping to charge. You're just stopping to take a break, and while I'm doing that, the car charges itself. If I use my E.ON charging station, I have to wait there for about 30 minutes or 45 minutes to get the same kind of charge, if the 1 or 2 stalls are not taken. And this is what all other EVs have. They don't have the Tesla option. They only have the slow charging stations. And not entirely true. They do have Ionity chargers, but they are far in between, and again they are normally just 4 or 6 stalls, where Tesla's is more like 16 or 20 stalls. So you do have a lot of option in Europe, but Tesla again is just far ahead in this game too. And if you do own a Tesla, you can use all other chargers here in Europe plus your Tesla superchargers. So you do have more option, but still I find myself going to the Tesla chargers. And you gotta remember, sure, Ionity chargers can charge at a 300 kilowatt hour charging, or so they say. We haven't really seen that yet, and I tried one and I got it to 180 kilowatt hour. But the only car that can charge about this fast is the Tesla Model 3 at 250 kilowatt hours, or the Porsche Taycan at 270 kilowatt hours. Yes, the $200,000 everyday car. So if you get a Renault Zeo or an Audi e-tron or Jaguar I-Pace or any other car than the very expensive Porsche, then your car can't charge at this speed and you're left with the slow charging anyway. Just to mention a few, the Nissan Leaf rapid charging is 50 kilowatt hours, and pretty much every other Kia or Hyundai or so on have really slow charging. The next best thing in the game is like the Audi e-tron, tops out at 150 kilowatt hours. Jaguar I-Pace 100 kilowatt hours, the Mercedes EQC 110 kilowatt hours, and so on. So it doesn't really matter that you have a few places with 300 kilowatt hour charging speed, because your car can't really do it. But your Tesla Model 3 can do up to 250 kilowatt hours. It makes a big difference. Okay, enough about charging station, because another great thing about the Tesla ecosystem is your Tesla knows where it can charge. You don't have to think about it. Tesla does all the thinking. No one else does this. And this kind of came as a shock to me. When you bought the $200,000 Porsche, it couldn't find any charging stations. When you're used to this in your Tesla, you just think, of course all other electric cars can find chargers, but they really can't. They are just light years behind Tesla. I was going home from a skiing holiday and had an 800 kilometers trip in front of me, and all I had to do was pull down at the navigation bar. Didn't even have to write anything, press any menu and then home button, just pull down the navigation bar. Or I could have just said navigate home. Anyway, the car's navigation system showed me, of course, the way home, but where I had to stop for charging, how long to stop for charging, and what charge I would arrive home with. And the car, of course, drove itself like 80% of the time, because most of the driving was on the highway. So I really didn't have to think at all, didn't have to plan anything or use different apps and so on. One pull in the navigation bar. That was it. If I had the $200,000 Porsche Taycan, it would only have been able to show me the way in the navigation system. Not when to stop for charging, how long to charge for to get to the next charging point and so on. And I would have to drive myself the whole 800 kilometers. This is actually a big thing. I had some friends who were thinking about getting an electric car but couldn't afford a Tesla, and when they couldn't get a Tesla, they thought the range was a bit short and they were worried about this exact thing. How would they find all the charging stations on the way? They got the range anxiety. It is quite easy to do, for example, with PlugSurf here in Europe, but you have to plan it yourself and use your phone, because I don't think many cars have the ability to send destinations from your phone to your navigation systems in the car as you can with your Tesla. Just so convenient. You can even sit at your computer at home using a better route planner to plan your trip and then send it directly from your computer to your car's navigation system. Just so cool. Or you can of course use the web browser in your Tesla and use a better route planner there and send it to your navigation system. And the navigation system in your Tesla is simply just a whole nother level than the competition. A really Google Map experience where you can press the things on the map, get information, you can even open the websites, and of course start navigations to the place. And now they're working to bring in other chargers than just Tesla chargers into the navigation system. So you will find even more chargers. And all this, of course, is just done with an over-the-air update. So the range anxiety does not exist in a Tesla, because it always tells you if the road trip you're about to take can be done, and if necessary it will even tell you that it can be done, but you have to stay below 120 kilometers an hour to get there with 5% left, for example. No other electronic vehicle can do this, and it just makes the experience of owning an electric vehicle so much better and easier to use. And other cars' software, if you can even call it that, just gets older. Tesla's gets better. Just let me show you some of the things that my car can do now that it couldn't do when I got it. It have gotten longer range, faster charging, 5% more peak power, integrating Google Apps where you can press the different points on the map and get more information and go straight to the company's website. It got Netflix, it got YouTube, it got more games like Beach Racing 2. It had become better at driving itself through one pedal driving where the car brakes all the way to zero and holds itself. Sensory mode, that has helped a lot of people catch a lot of bad guys damaging their cars. Dog mode, vent mode, advanced summon, just to mention a few. So when you get a Tesla, your car will get better over time, get more features, can do more, all for free, and some big updates can be paid for if you want them. And this will become a thing more and more for Tesla. I believe they will get an app store at some point in the future. And if you do have to use a slow charger, the Tesla is simply the king of infotainment system. No one else has Netflix, YouTube, a sketchbook, games, and so on. I'm never bored in my Tesla. Sometimes I even find myself charging a bit longer than I really have to. And that's because the whole ecosystem of the Tesla simply just works and makes it more fun to be in your car and so much easier to get around, and that's what it's all about. And this is even without talking about the really big ecosystem of Tesla with solar glass roof, a power wall, and the car combined. This is just a small ecosystem, making the car even better than people realize, that are more than just specs, but also includes the user experience. And I think Tesla is even more ahead of the competition in this area than they are of building a great electronic vehicle. Tesla really made a smart car that can be updated over the air just like your smartphone. You can control the whole car from your phone. It knows where to charge, how long to charge for, and how fast you have to drive to get there. Everything is just integrated in the whole ecosystem of Tesla, which makes it more enjoyable living with your car. And I think this is why people just love their Teslas, because there's simply nothing like this out there. And when you experience this firsthand with a Tesla in your everyday driving, you just don't want anything less. This is of course just my opinion. But what do you think? Do you have a Tesla? Do you have an electric vehicle? Or what are your experience with this? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button or share button. It really means a lot for the video. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos, and it's also a big support for this channel. If you want to support the channel even more, you can head over to patreon.com/bestInTESLA and support this show for as little as $1 a month. But it really helps out a lot. And you can also see all the perks you can get over there as a Patreon. And a big thanks to my Patreons for your support. It means the world to me. Thank you guys. And as always, the biggest help is you watching this video. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.